Hey, I'm Doug McAllister, and this is Stories I Didn't Get to Tell Last Sunday. And it is the new podcast from Journey Fellowship Church. And we are excited today to welcome you into our conversation. With me is Luis Padilla. Luis has been a friend of mine for 20 years. We actually met in the hallway. I remember, maybe you helped me out, but we were in Pontchartrain, in the campus in the John Jay Shopping Center. It was a couple years before Hurricane Katrina, like 01 maybe, 02?
2003.
2003. So I was walking in the back and I turned the corner by the bathroom and Luis was standing there talking to somebody else. And I said, hey, I want to meet you. And you ever met somebody and it was just like you knew them your whole life? When I looked into your eyes that day and we made eye contact and we talked, I just had that immediate connection like, man, this guy is my brother. I don't know who he is.
Thank you, Lord.
I don't know why he's even there, but because it was your first time at Journey, right?
That's my very first time. Yeah.
Tell me about the first time you came. What led you to get connected with Journey?
So first of all, thank you, Pastor, for inviting me here. It's a huge honor, man. Pastor Doug is my hero. I want to be like you when I grow up, man.
You're going to
seriously
do greater.
I hope so. I hope I don't let you down.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so I was living in the West Bank of New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
And in my lunch break, I would go eat in my car because nobody wants to have lunch with a preacher, right? At work.
Yeah, you kind of get like pushed to the side.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So I would bring
at that time you were going to the seminary.
Yeah, the Baptist seminary.
Right.
And so I would bring my lunch to my car, and right at that same exact time, you would come on Life Songs.
Oh, on the radio.
On the radio.
Man.
And so I would just kept listening to you, and I was just like, man, who is this country preacher, man? Why is he all up in my business? Yeah. I was like, I gotta go here and preach. Yeah. But I had to find the right schedule and everything. Eventually we went to a Rebecca St. James concert.
Is that the first time you came?
That's the first time I went.
Man, that concert was one of the biggest events we did up until that time.
Oh wow.
People were spilling out into the street. Rebecca St. James came. And who else was there that night?
The Katinas?
The Katinas were there. Yeah. I ran into him, Jesse Katina, a while back. I was at another conference. And across the court, I haven't seen him since 2003. And he yelled, Pastor Doug, from across the yard. I said, dude, you remember who I am?
Absolutely, man.
Came one time to Journey, a little small town, and you remember us.
Absolutely.
But anyway, what a great night, man. So Rebecca St. James was there, and the Katinas were there, and Luis Padilla was there.
So I went there, but it was one of those visits where you get in and out. The one you're mentioning about, it was a year after we were praying to move somewhere.
Gotcha,
And I was dropping off my son, Adrian, who was a toddler, a baby at that time.
Yeah.
And I was dropping him off, and then you came out of backstage, and that's when that connection happened.
So you came earlier to the concert, but came back later to the Sunday service.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I was impacted, man. The Lord's presence, it was just,
What, did you feel the same connection I did?
Absolutely.
Wasn't it crazy, man? It was like...
What I felt was, first of all, how does he know this much about me? Who told him about me?
Yeah.
But then second of all, I just had that connection that I was home.
Yeah. That's how I felt.
I felt like I was home.
It's like, this is family, man. And we've been like that ever since, bro.
So thank you.
We used to make a lot of road trips together.
Yeah.
And Luis eventually graduated. Do what?
We used to listen to our favorite country music.
Yes,
that's how country boys roll.
Man, it's like we had that. Who sang that song? That's how
Billy Currington.
Yeah, Billy Currington's song became like our road trip song, man. And we've been saying, neither one of us can sing real good, but we've been saying that's how country boys roll.
I make up the lyrics in Spanish.
Yeah, that's right. You did. We would drive from Slidell to Alexandria for the district pastors meeting. Yeah, and Luis would go with me, and we'd have great conversations, and we got to know each other. But we always felt, that kinship, man. And I know it was Christ. And Luis went on to finish his degree. He graduated from SAGU. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what was your degree in?
Church planting.
Yeah, church planting. And he joined our team. The first job we gave you, I think were you in charge of maintenance? What did you do?
Landscaping.
Yeah. You were the guy that put the cross out by the lake, right?
I helped.
Yeah. So we had to dig this like 12-foot hole in the ground. Remember that backhoe? And
I remember that day.
And then we had to rent a lift to pick the cross up, man. It was quite an undertaking, man. And you were the guy that was there. And Luis has served on the Journey team from maintenance all the way up now to international church planter. You've been like, a star Journey for 2 decades, man. We're all so proud of you and your wife and your 2 boys. We love Lourdes and Adrian and David. We've watched them grow up. Now they're men. We ate lunch with them yesterday. And man, those boys have outgrown you. They're men, but we had the pleasure of watching them grow up. And then you went to Argentina for, 3 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years. And then you came back, and you and Lourdes planted a Journey campus on the West Bank in Belle Chasse and did an amazing job. Built a campus from the ground up. We had this old rundown building that you totally remodeled, from inside out and turned it into a life-giving, gospel-preaching, Jesus-centered church, and then when you finished that work, the Lord called you back to international church planting. And that's where you are now. You've been itinerating. Tell us about some of your travels. Give us a couple stories, some of the things that you've experienced in the last couple of years since you left the campus to go back on the road full time.
Definitely. Well, I'll just first say, Pastor, that everything you mentioned is accurate. But had you not been in my corner and lifting my arms and putting me out there, putting my name out there, man, I would still be digging ditches, man. Yeah. And so
there's greatness in you, man.
I just thank you, man. It really is. It's the grace of God upon my life, but also you.
Yeah, I'm honored you would think that.
So thank you, Pastor.
But the greatness was already there, man.
Never forget that, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So you've been traveling now. Yeah. You've been all across America.
Yeah. So as AG missionaries, you have to do a tour. I'll say it that way so people can understand. And a tour basically means you have to visit as many as possible churches, right? That would pledge to give to you by faith.
Yeah.
And so on an average, that tour takes about a year and a half on an average.
So your tour, were you opening for Rebecca St. James or that kind of tour?
Unfortunately, I don't sing, but a lot like that in the sense that you travel.
That kind of tour? You're like a you and your family tour.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how many churches have you visited? How many churches are supporting you?
Oh, man. I would say a good... maybe about 120.
Wow.
Yeah, 120, 140.
Wow. Have you raised your whole budget?
We're about 90%, so
Man. And I do know the district, the Louisiana network, just bought you guys a vehicle. Man, what an overwhelming surprise, huh?
But that's the testimony in and of itself, because it's not that the district or churches have this money left aside and we're just finding somebody to throw it away to.
Right.
But that vehicle actually was raised or generated by youth, by teenagers.
I know. That
guys
blows my mind.
like Pastor Andy that would do different things, like diving themselves in a pool in freezing weather, the ice challenge. And so all of those things.
How much did they raise?
I'm not exactly sure, but I want to say for everybody about $50,000 in a matter of 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's incredible. I love what Charlie Allo's doing and our Louisiana Network. So we were there last month at the Louisiana Network. And there's 500 pastors there and when they called you up to the stage, they didn't tell me what they were doing. I thought they were just honoring you. And I wanted them to honor you, and I was excited about it. But when they said, hey, we want to purchase your next vehicle when you're on the mission field, man. I know I cried. I know you and Lourdes both were overwhelmed. What a gift. And it was all done by teenagers.
Right. All generated by them. Teenagers. It's not like they, like I said, they worked for this.
Yeah.
But it's for a vehicle and for sound and equipment like we're using today to preach the gospel.
Yeah. So your budget's raised, your vehicle's purchased, your tickets are bought, you're ready to get back into Argentina, but little complication, they won't let you in.
No.
Yes.
No.
Tell us that story. What's going on? What you can. I know some of it. Some of it's sensitive.
No. We're good. I'm just trying to maybe it's the Lord showing me something here.
Okay.
But I just think that there's seasons of deserts, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know why, like in some biblical characters, right, you would have these seasons in time where just they're stuck.
Yeah.
A desert is synonymous of being in a place where you can't develop your potential. You can't go about your normal life.
Right.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
Moses had one. David had one. Jesus
that's where
had
you
one.
are?
So that's where I've been.
Yeah.
I've been all this year, 2021, just in a time of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Of what's going to happen. In the meantime, you have teenagers growing.
Yeah.
And so just
trying to raise your family, trying to lead your life and make sure they're all healthy and strong.
Because in a perfect world, we would be in Argentina beginning of this year, in January of 2021.
Right.
But of course, then the virus hit.
Right.
And now the country of Argentina, to answer your question, the country of Argentina has gone into a strict lockdown, the entire country.
Yeah.
The borders are shut down, and there's an economic collapse. So if you're not a national, they won't let you in.
Wow.
And so, because we worked there, we were called a global worker there. We're not allowed in.
Yeah.
And so they keep postponing it. I think it's a political agenda behind it.
Yeah.
That is completely anti-Christ, anti-church, and all those things.
Yeah.
And so in the meantime, while that's happening, our family, we've been kind of in the air.
Yeah.
Because we no longer have, our shepherd in the campus in Belle Chasse.
Right.
And we're not leaving anywhere. So we kind of literally feel like we're stuck
in the desert.
In the desert.
So for the last year, you've been in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're living in the hills of the Ozarks.
Yeah, we were told we were leaving in May.
Of
this year, 2021.
So that's now.
So we sold our house, which that was a miracle, in New Orleans.
Yeah. In one day, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
12 hours. That's a miracle.
Yeah. You sold your house.
Sold our house to go to Argentina, and then lo and behold, that's
doors closed.
Doors are closed.
And sometimes, in Paul's journey, Luke wrote they wanted to go to one place, but the Spirit of Jesus would not allow it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't understand the spiritual implications. Right. I know there's political and natural; all those things are always at play. But I think God rules in the affairs of men. Yeah. Sometimes God just closes the door for a season, and we don't know why until later. Yeah. So maybe that's where you are right now. So you decided to move your family to the Ozarks.
Yes.
So you're the first Latino hillbilly that I've ever met, man.
That's the first for everything.
Bro. You're my people, man. Yeah. So how's life in the Ozarks, man?
Man, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's another level. It's another life. Our connection with, we're in the northwest of Arkansas.
Yeah, which is a beautiful place to live, man.
Yes, a beautiful place to raise a family.
Gorgeous.
Too,
and there's a lot of big business. I didn't really realize how many Fortune 500 companies headquartered in northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
At least
Walmart,
4 or 5, huh?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah,
five.
Wow.
5 Fortune
Who's there?
500.
Walmart and who else?
Walmart, Coca-Cola.
Wait, Coke is not in Atlanta? They're in northwest Arkansas?
They have a big building
office?
there.
Isn't Tyson Chicken there?
Tyson.
Yeah, I thought
Tyson.
I love chicken.
Yes.
And
who
else is
J.W.
there?
Hunt, is it?
Hunt's
Glad.
There. Yeah, man.
Glad. Yeah.
It's a lot of big companies. So you guys are buying a house, putting down some roots there.
Yeah. Well, because we thought we were leaving to Argentina. Lourdes, my wife, rented a Airbnb.
Yeah.
For a few months.
That's a great adventure.
And then the contract was expired, and we literally had nowhere to go. So we just said, "Okay, Lord, we are going to look for a place here because the economy is good. We can leave it invested, go to the field."
Yeah,
and then
that's pretty wise, man.
Well,
pretty wise.
Mainly my wife.
Well, it's a great area. The economy is booming there, and Arkansas never shut down. Their economy
never shut down.
Never had a mask mandate. Never had a 6
And
foot
because of the doors closing in California and everywhere else, the pastors of the church we were helping in or serving in, they said, "Look, we have 20 families coming into our city on a daily basis."
A day?
A day. 20 families a day.
That's maybe why California lost a congressional seat, because tens of thousands of people are moving to free
Northwest.
Free America.
Yeah.
California is like a socialist state now. People are leaving by the tens of thousands.
Yeah.
So you bought a house in a safe community with a booming economy.
Yeah, so I told the Lord, "Why don't you just call me here?"
Yeah. Hey, that's right. Hey, I'm serving Jesus in the mountains. I could get used to that, man. I would love to be able. We go to the mountains every year. Rachel and I and all of our kids.
Yeah.
We go up to the Smoky Mountains every year. We rent a house. We all stay together. We eat meals together. We go to Dollywood, or sometimes Dollywood shut down because of the pandemic. So we can do something different this year. But we're going back because the mountains are just such a great place, man, to be a family and to kind of enjoy the best
presence
of
America. The Lord is amazing.
And you're part of a great church. Tell us about the church you're part of.
So our connection with the church there, it's a Hispanic church, it's a Latino church.
Yeah.
So it's a fast-growing Latino church, one of the fastest in the Hispanic district of South Central Hispanic District.
Wow, which covers like a whole bunch of states.
Yeah.
So it's a booming church.
Booming church.
Be a part of what God's doing in Arkansas. And what city is it in?
Rogers,
which is not far from Bentonville.
No, 10, 15 minutes.
That's right. It's pretty close.
There, Springdale, Rogers, all that area.
Man, it's like It's like a great area to live. Yeah,
it's a fast-growing
So,
area.
what do you do at the church? Do you preach or serve?
Both, but they asked me to revitalize a young adult ministry.
Yeah.
So, in other words, I'm shaping new pastors. So I'm believing for 10 new pastors in the next coming years. Yeah,
so great. And your family loves living in Arkansas?
We do.
Yeah,
we do.
I tried to talk Luis into moving down back to Slidell. I said, "Man, we'll rent you an apartment. Just come live close to me," because I know they're getting ready to go to Argentina. We're not going to see them.
And that's what we wanted to do. Had this not opened up,
I tried to offer that. I didn't try. I offered it, but God opened another door. But I think it's wiser that you're buying a house. Yeah. That way, when you guys come and go from the field, you have a home base with a great local church.
You could pay our house for us.
We could do that right now. Get the checkbook. Yeah. So we are excited that you have a home base, but we're happy that you're able to, travel freely and do what God's called you to do.
But you know what? You always return home.
Man.
Because I know that our season in Argentina, where we at in Arkansas, it's a season. Yeah. But I know my home is here.
Well, they say you can't go home again, but that is not true. You can always go home, man.
Thank you. If you guys take me back,
always. Yeah. It's always a place for the Padillas in our house.
Thank you, Pastor.
We love what God is doing, and we're so proud. You guys spent the first 4 years in Argentina. You planted 3 churches.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I went down to Argentina. Me and my son Cade went. Cade was he's a senior in high school.
He was a senior. Yeah, he was graduating.
This is like 5 or 6 years ago now, right?
I guess. Yeah.
So Cade was just a senior in high school. We went down there and spent a week with you, and Luis almost killed me. I'm not kidding. So he had a great idea because I love the fish. He said, "Hey, Pastor, can I take you and Cade fishing?" And I was like, "Absolutely, take me fishing."
You didn't know it was 3 hours away?
I didn't know it was going to be in a mountain lake 3 hours away, and I was riding in the back of a pickup truck. So I didn't know
you got car sick 5 minutes after leaving the parking lot.
I got motion sick, man. I've had motion sickness my whole life. It's just ironic that the Lord called me to be a traveling preacher from some of you. I've been sick on every continent of the earth, man. In airplanes, in cars, in Jeeps, on backs of donkeys. I just get sick when I get in. So we're going fishing.
In a dam.
Yeah, we're going fishing at the lake at the dam. Right. And it's 3 hours away, and about halfway there, I was trying to fake it, and I just finally had to say, "Hey, y'all, I'm sick." And we finally got to the lake. The good thing about it is Luis and Cade fished anyway. They went fishing anyway.
We're already there, okay?
And you rented me like a little cabin.
I rented you an apartment, man.
Oh man, it was not an apartment. It was a concrete building. Man. And they had a bed, and the bed was made of a concrete bed. I'm like, that's not a bed, that's a torture chamber. And Louis said, "Go lay on the bed, it's cool." I was like, that's a piece of concrete. But I did. I went and laid on the concrete mattress.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and I got sicker. So anyway, the good news is you and Kate had fun fishing.
Yeah, it was
I was busy dying. Yeah, it was awesome. But we got to visit the 3 churches that you planted. Mm-hmm. We got to see what God was doing, and man, one of the pastors just captured my heart. Mm-hmm. He went on to be with the Lord recently. Tell us a little bit tell us a story about him and the church plant, man.
Wow, Mario.
We're both gonna cry. I know.
Yeah. Mario Vargas. So I heard Pastor Al just talking about just what he's doing with Celebrate Recovery and going after lost lives, man.
Right.
And Pastor Mario, before knowing the Lord, Mario Vargas was a kingpin. Yeah. In Salta.
In the mafia.
In the mafia.
Right.
Connection with the mafia, drug lord, all those things. Yeah. And the Lord rescued him, mainly because his wife, wife Adriana, wow, she prayed him into
what a
salvation.
Woman of God, man. You can just feel the presence of God in her life.
She would bring his clothes while he was still in drugs, and he would bring his clothes and his shoes and sitting on top of her empty chair, next to her empty chair at church every Sunday for like a whole year and a half, praying him into the kingdom,
Dude, I have got cold chills, man. That one was a prayer warrior, bro. Yes. You just feel the presence of God when you walk into the room with her. You can tell she spent a lot of time with Jesus, man. So Mario got saved, got delivered, got out of the mob.
Yep. Yeah. Got called into the ministry, served the Lord for a few years. And after all of that, this all happened maybe a few years before we arrived in Argentina, but we arrived at the exact time when he was looking to open his church.
Wow.
But he didn't have any idea how to open a church. How do you go about set up ministries? How do you go? Where do you ask for
and
permits?
You show up with the vision to plant churches,
show up.
man.
Yeah.
Sounds like that may have been God's time.
Praying,
right?
God, show us, lead us to the right people.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those connections. And I met him because I needed a permit. He also worked in the city. He worked for the city.
Right.
And I needed a permit to do a crusade because we had an international apostle coming to preach.
Yeah, right.
Pastor Doug
I'm sure that's what it was. Yeah.
And so we had this stage ready for you to preach in.
I remember. Yeah.
And so I was talking to him to give me permits for you to come preach.
Right.
And it all kind of just came together at the very exact time when you and Cade and Mario and us saw an Argentine couple, a family from Slidell, Guatemalan family living in the country.
Man,
everything just worked out together.
Man.
So that
that's just the kingdom of God, man. It really is. You know, people from different walks, different places, all coming together to do one thing, and that is to tell the greatest story ever told.
Yes, and so we planted a church.
Yeah.
You left in October, November.
Right.
And then we planted a church in December. There was about 15 of us.
Right.
We started a meeting at our office.
Right.
And then the Lord opened the door for us to remodel a used car shop.
Yeah.
And then we turned into a church now, and now we sit hundreds of people.
Tell me the name of the church.
New Life.
I love that, man. It is New Life. The Lord called Mario home.
Yes.
We all mourned his loss, his homegoing. And but you know, his story is such a great story of redemption, man. Mm-hmm. That God took a man who was so deep into sin. Not only was he in the mafia and organized crime, but he was a drug dealer, a kingpin in the area. And his wife prayed him into the kingdom, and he got saved, came under your ministry. You guys planted a church together, and his legacy is going to be New Life Church, man. And what a great name to leave behind. And now he has three sons. Who are carrying on his work.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about them.
Well, the oldest one is a lawyer.
Yeah.
The youngest one is a graphic designer, and the youngest one is basically like the associate pastor. Now his wife took over.
His wife is the lead pastor. So the oldest son's a lawyer. The middle son is a graphic designer, and the baby. Yeah. He's not a baby. He's a grown man. But the youngest. Yeah.
He took over as...
He's an associate pastor. So he's going to fill his dad's shoes probably one day.
One of them.
Yeah.
But basically the family is running the ministry. So they didn't leave his dad work go to waste. You know, they're carrying on the work.
The ministry goes on.
Yes.
Yeah. So you need to get back there, man.
Yep.
You need to get back there and start planting some more churches. So we're going to pray that God opens the door when this season's over. Right now, the Spirit of Jesus is saying no. Yeah. But that day's going to end, we know, and the doors are going to reopen, you know, and you're going to get to go back to Argentina. And is it too early to talk about Guatemala?
No, it's definitely it's in my thoughts, you know.
Yeah, man. When you told me the vision, I want you to know my heart just leaped in my chest, man. You know, sometimes you just know it's God. You don't have to pray about it. You have to think about it. You said that's the Lord. So your family is from Guatemala.
Yes.
You were born in the U.S., but
raised my whole life.
Yeah, you've been here forever, but you grew up
in Guatemala.
There, right. Yep. So between America and Guatemala, and we know, or you know, that God's going to call you back there one day.
Yes.
Can you just talk from your heart a little bit about Guatemala?
Yes. So I haven't done any kind of ministry in Guatemala.
Yeah. Which is ironic.
Yeah. I always wanted to go back. I always wanted to go back, and there was always one thing or another. There was always a closed door.
Yeah.
And so now, because of all the situation, the country is open now. And what we would like to do is plant an international church.
Yeah, in Guatemala City.
In Guatemala City.
Yeah.
Guatemala City is a prosperous city in Central America.
Man, even talking about it now just makes my heart beat fast. It really does. I really feel like Journey is going to be part of what you're doing there. We want to get behind you financially, and I want to go with you on an exploratory trip and just see what God's doing, what God's saying. Spend a week there just praying, maybe 3 or 4 days, maybe not need a whole week. But let's go down there and just spend 3 days praying and fasting and see what the Holy Ghost says. Man.
Yeah, well, you released the word into our life last year, or 2019, 2 years ago, when we and Lord went out to have breakfast.
Yeah, I remember.
That it was our time to get established and to, develop a ministry, and then from there go to Argentina.
Yeah.
And man, we took that seriously.
Yeah.
We really did. Maybe just the time
Yeah.
and the location
Yeah.
wasn't at that moment,
Right.
at that time.
We see through a glass darkly.
Yes.
But we know God's doing something
but
major.
the truth's still there,
Yeah,
right?
it's there. Yeah.
And so we've ever since that moment we were trying to decide where's this going to be, and so
Yeah.
because we have teenagers at home too, a lot of our decisions,
Yeah.
we have to take them into.
Well, they are
account,
your first disciples and your first responsibility, So,
But we think that by that word, that vision, by what's going on in Argentina that we can't get in.
Yeah.
By where our kids are at, one of them is going to be a senior this year.
Yeah. So Adrian's a senior.
Adrian's going to be a
David's
senior.
what, 11th grade?
Yeah.
So they're both about to
junior.
graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have about 2 more years of them.
Yeah.
With them.
Yeah.
At home.
And then they go to college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking that maybe if it's the Lord, maybe it's a good fit for us to go to Guatemala, get established there,
Yeah.
and then from there go to. I already have the name of the church. I'll call it Journey Guate.
No way.
Absolutely.
So what does that mean in
Absolutely.
Spanish?
Journey.
Oh, Journey. What's the last part of it?
Guate is the
Oh,
shorter
Guatemala.
version of Guatemala.
Yeah, my Spanish is rough, man. I can barely speak English, so yeah, I'm not bilingual. So
So
Journey.
another name for Guatemala is Guate.
Yeah,
so call it like that now.
Journey Guatemala.
Journey Guate.
Dude, I'm affirming that. That's a word from God, man. Let's do it. Why don't we plan a trip down there?
Let's do
Then as soon as you can. I know you're busy traveling and everything.
Maybe
but
July would be a good
yeah,
time to go.
maybe this summer we can go down for 2 or 3 days, or 3 or 4, whatever the turnaround. How long is the turnaround to get in and out and so forth?
Oh, it's like here, in and out the same day.
Oh wow,
No problem.
yeah.
It's like traveling within the state. That's another thing that we like. Going to Argentina.
Yeah.
You guys know, both you and Kate
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
a whole day to get there, a day and a night to get there.
Man, it was torturous, man. We had to go to Chile or somewhere. I don't know where we went, man.
Then
In
you
fact,
got lost.
in the airport, were we in Chile, Caden, when we went to the airport? Yeah, we went to a restaurant in the airport while we had a layover, not in Argentina, but one of the nations around it. I don't remember where we were. So I'm eating a salad at the salad bar, which costs like $27, So and I go
Probably Chile,
and I said I'm gonna get some dessert, man. So I went and got a big bowl, and I got me a big bowl of pudding, like like banana pudding. So I had my salad and my banana pudding. I finished my salad. I'm eating my dessert. And I took one bite of it, and I realized this is not pudding. This is dressing for the salad. So, I was like, oh man. And then, but I had jet lag. We was in an airport for 5 hours, and you make really bad decisions, man.
It's bad, man. To get to Argentina, it's a bad trip.
Yeah, we had to go from New Orleans to Miami.
Then you're stuck 10 hours in a flight.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Layovers.
it was a pretty rough trip, man.
It's 27 hours from New Orleans to Salta. 27 hours
Right.
total travel.
It's a whole
time.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole day. Well, Guatemala, it's not like
Guatemala,
that.
it's like going to, California or.
So if we leave,
if you leave
New Orleans
here
International.
at 9 a.m.,
Yeah.
you'll get there at noon. Do what you got to do. You can come back the same day.
get out of here. Oh, we got to go do
Easy.
this, man.
Easy, like
We got to go do this, man, and we got to find some, find the mind of God for Journey Guate.
Journey Guate.
I like it, man.
Journey Guate.
My Espanol took a
Yes.
whole step forward.
Journey
yeah,
Guate.
Journey Guate. Well,
amazing.
I'm totally on board for that, man.
Yeah.
I just love what God's doing in your life, man. I love
Thank you, Pastor.
where your boys are. It's been a pleasure to watch them grow up and to see you become a great man of God.
Praise the Lord.
The last 2 decades have been a joy in my life, man. To see you grow from a Bible college student to an international church planner.
Well, I
Man,
learned from you, man. I learned from you.
I'll tell you, God's been so good to me, bro. I'm so good to bring people like you into my life, that we get to do life together. And, you're a son and your wife is a daughter in our house, man. We just feel that kind of kindred love for you,
praise the Lord, same
and
here.
we're excited to support you and stand behind you and travel with you and even go on fishing trips with you where you almost killed me. That was fun, man.
I was already imagining the newspapers, the Slidell Times. Missionary kills pastor to keep the church.
Luis told me later he was trying to work up the words to tell Rachel that I was dead.
That was my biggest concern. I was stressing.
How do I tell Rachel that
I was
Doug
stressing.
died on the
Well,
field?
he died on
Hey,
this year. What
remember
am I gonna
Doug?
do?
He left and he was doing great. Well,
And then I went and talked
he's
to
not
Kate.
good. Yeah.
I said, Kate, man, I feel horrible about your dad, man. He was like, he'll get over it.
Well, Kate has seen me motion sick 1,000 times, so he's like, yeah, it's just normal. Don't worry about it. He's fine. Yeah. But anyway, hey, it's been great to hang out with you today, man. Hey, thanks for joining us here on Stories I Didn't Get to Tell last Sunday. It's the new Journey podcast, and we're just having a blast. If you want to know more about us, journeyfellowshipchurch.com, or go to your app store and type in Journey Fellowship Church in the search bar, and you can download our app. It's Compliments of Journey. It's loaded with great sermon series from the past couple of years. Also, you can get connected, find information. There's lots of resources to help you on your journey of faith. And most of all, I want you to come worship with us on a Sunday morning. Amen. Sunday, 10 a.m. If you're local, come visit us on Sunday, 10 a.m. We're in Slidell, Louisiana. Travel information is on the app and on the website. But we hope you'll come worship God with us. It's great to be with you today, Luis, and great to be with you today. So we love you. God bless you. And that's it for Stories I Didn't Get to Tell last Sunday.